Hello and welcome to season 4 of the NGO Whisperer Show. My name is Dr. Carolyne Opinde. I am the founder of the NGO Whisperer and the convener of the NGO Whisperer Masterclass. Here at the NGO Whisperer, we provide technical support to nonprofits and social enterprises so they can successfully impact people's lives. Joining us today from London is Dr. Veronica Nikki de Pina. She is the founder and chief executive of Global Peace Let's Talk. And today we are going to talk about global peace. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Dr. Nikki.
Thank you, Dr. Carolyne. It's a privilege to be here with you today. I have this high level of respect for the work that you are doing. So being able to be with you at this time is a wonderful privilege for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are just so honored to have you today as we go deeper and talk about global peace. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that 151 countries in the world are currently involved in some form of conflict? That is according to the Global Peace Index report that was recently released. Also, there's a difference between war and armed conflict. By definition of the international humanitarian law, armed conflict arises whenever there is fighting between states or protracted armed violence between government authorities and organized armed groups, or just between organized armed groups. And therefore today, we're going to talk about peace, global peace, just peace, whether it is because there's a war or armed conflict, or even conflict within communities or in families. So Dr. Nikki, share with us, first and foremost, before we go into our topic today, who is Dr. Veronica Nikki de Pina?
I'm just a normal person. I'm a mother of 3 children and even a grandmother now of 3 awesome grandchildren. I have a huge love of family. I think it's important that families stay together. And the other thing I love, whenever I welcome somebody into my circle, they just become family. They just become family because families are close and families support each other. So my career, my whole working career has been working with people. My whole focus has been on supporting areas of conflict, even in corporates where you have people that work under the Human Resources Department that deal with employees to help them get over things that are affecting their work. So wherever I've worked, I've had to work with people that are finding things difficult and hard. And also finding people that lack the confidence to be able to go forward in their careers. And the greatest joy for me in that career was when I was able to support somebody that then got the confidence to be able to stand up and say, here I am, and this is what I can do. And then they are recognized, and many of them ended up getting promotions and went into leadership. So it just proves that if you could just shine the light on people that you see, and you give them that guidance, then miracles happen. Once they gain that confidence, they stand up and they just become strong. And then the whole leadership within them starts happening. And that is also why I so appreciate Dr. Carolyne's work, because that's exactly what she does. I know I'm not talking about myself, but I'm trying to share the two together. And why I'm so inspired being having this opportunity to work with the Whisperer. Anyway, my story is my life, as I said, has been in development of people, it's been in training, it's been in facilitation. I was very involved in South Africa when Mandela was released. We had to work with groups of people to help them to understand that change was coming and that they need to adapt and they need to learn that word called forgiveness, and they need to stand together and unite and look forward and look at the vision and things that could happen in the beautiful country that at a time was in so much conflict. I was in that area for 4 years before the final release, and I was exposed to so many leaders that people would have seen as being criminal and being dictators. None of that was true. They were just people that wanted to shine the light on others. They wanted to see a fairness. They wanted to see that all lives matter and that there needs to be acceptance and change. So I was in my element because that is what I love doing. And it was a wonderful day for me on that very day when Mandela was released, and knowing that I had played even a small part in that. So that has stayed with me forever. And my journey then continued across different organizations with different people to live my passion, to help people. I believe this: you must seek to understand first before being understood. Make the time to understand that person before you look from the outside and criticize and say, I can't accept you. If you just listen and you seek to understand, you will find a whole different meaning. And that is when partnerships start happening and acceptance. Never stand back. Find the opportunities, seek first to understand. So after working, I've worked in environments of peace building. I've worked with the International Institute Peace Through Tourism, which is an awesome organization because they believe that tourism also encourages an understanding of different cultures and of different people. Dr. Amori, who leads the International Institute for Peace, has dedicated his whole life to encouraging people to go to different countries and visit and explore other cultures so that there can be acceptance. That is when you learn. So when you go to different countries, you don't just go there to go and visit the museums or things like that or stay in a hotel. You make time to go and visit the people in their homes, where they live, what they cook, about their families, and you come back with a whole different approach. And then when people criticize a country and say those are all bad people, you will say, no, it's not true. It's not true. There are good things happening. I then moved across to another peace institution that was dealing with also recognizing leaders and helping them to start up the cities of peace in different areas. So 2 years ago, after all of this, I kept on thinking that one of the days I'm going to be able to take all these years of experience and put them in something that sits very deep in my heart, that's real, that comes from it comes from belief that life can be better. And then out of nowhere, and this even I cannot explain this fully, but out of nowhere, I ended up on a course with a gentleman called Asazi in Nigeria. And he was doing a course on starting NGOs. So after having spent quite a bit of time with him on this course, at the end of the day, he said to me, you know what, Nikki, you need to now stand up and you need to start your own NGO. He said to me, I've been watching you. You need to give what you have and your energy and your love into a movement that can be Nikki's movement. So after that, I then thought, okay, I can do this. And I started working on setting up Global Peace Let's Talk. And this is, I'm sharing this with you extremely honestly. I had no idea at that time, who must I invite to help me set up this team? Who are going to be the people that will link hands with me and understand exactly what it is that I would like to see happen? And from nowhere. So if you ever think that God is not taking care of you, let me tell you that he does. Because without me even realizing it, God was sending people to me. And one after the other started appearing. Asadi being number one, of course, he was so excited. And then people started coming and saying, but we want to join you. I didn't have to ask anybody, they just arrived. And even I was thinking, okay, how did that happen? So I could share 100 stories with you of people that have ended up coming into the space of Global Peace Let's Talk on their own. Not because I've to ask them or not because I invited them. I would get an email and say, Nikki, I want to join you. I want to work with you. So yes, there are people that I've known before and a lot that I've worked with before, but one after the other just started coming. And that is how we started building Global Peace Let's Talk. And then to decide, how is this organization now going to be able to work? What are we going to be looking at? And then the idea also just came from nowhere to talk about a chapter in a book, because you know that every single book has chapters. You cannot read one chapter in a book. You have to read from the beginning, chapter number 1, and then you go through until the book finally ends with a story. Sometimes it ends in a sad story, sometimes in a happy story, but the chapters, you have to go through them. And that is when, yes, the idea came to say, we are going to have chapters.
Now that you got to the point where you are setting up Global Peace Let's Talk as a global organization, because people are coming from all over the world, I would like us to go back to redefining or defining what peace or global peace means to you and to the people that you work with at Global Peace Let's Talk and the ones that you serve.
What it means to me is that I'm able to do what I love to do. It's to find the diamonds that are buried deep underground, that are lost and maybe frightened and they're just sitting there. And to be able to go and find those diamonds, take them out, shine them up, dust them off, and watch the sheer magic and passion happen when you breathe life into something that was left in darkness. Because even if that person was lying in darkness, the light was still there. It just needed to be put in a place where it can shine. And Global Peace, the people that join us and where they come from, those are the diamonds. I see them as diamonds. So your question was, how did all these people come to Global Peace Let's Talk? I cannot tell you exactly how. They were just directed there. They were directed there. So the whole focus is on then taking those diamonds that we found. And I have to tell you this because I can tell you with so much love and truth that the minute you bring those diamonds where they can shine, it is a miracle of note. The people that are members of Global Peace Let's Talk are just so amazing. They are strong people. They are people that even in the countries where there is such extreme conflict, where there is such poverty, where others will say, but there is no hope. What can we do for you? Okay, we'll send you money. We'll send you $100. None of that works. It's these people that stand up in all of this around them where everything seems lost. And this one person will stand up, this diamond, and he'll say, no, let me do something. So he'll gather all the children and he'll put them in a safe space and he'll pray with them and he'll teach them that even although things are sad, God loves you. You are safe here. And then he will start doing play groups, or he'll start finding ways to help his children have a glass of fresh water a day, or one meal a day, or he will help them to find a pair of shoes, but he's doing something. And in that little circle that he's created, that is where the peace starts. That is where these little children say, but there is hope, and life can be a little bit better. And I must try not to hate. I must try not to be kind and find good things around me. That is what the children get taught. With the adults, they will take the women that have been abused in ways that if I had to tell you the story now, you'd feel ill. You would really feel ill, because nobody understands how violent war is, how violent it is in countries where there's such extreme conflict. And the suffering is so deep, you cannot begin to understand it if you have not experienced it. That is why I'm also saying, seek first to understand before being understood, because you need to understand the depth of that suffering of that woman being so abused and raped, and so difficult to have her children ripped from her arms and murdered in front of her eyes. That's how hard it is. And now you find that these young people, these diamonds, as I call them chapter guardians, because they take care of the story in that chapter. They are the guardians of the people they find. And now they stand up and they take those adults and they teach them a skill, a simple skill like sewing. I'm going to teach you how to sew, because if I teach you how to sew, those are the things that you can sell, so you can earn a little bit of money, so you'll be able to feed your children and you'll be able to send them to school. Everything we do has a ripple effect. No matter how small it is, it has a ripple effect that then leads to peace.
Now that we have talked about global peace and what global peace means to your chapter guardians, let's go deeper into the services that you offer around the world. How many countries are you operating in currently, and what services do you offer to the communities that the chapter guardians and the countries that the chapter guardians are guarding?
Currently, we are in 36 countries. 36 Global Peace Let's Talk, it's not a year old yet. Officially, we only registered Global Peace in London in February, even although it started before that. It will only be one next year. And here we are with 36 countries across the world: Mexico, Argentina, Africa countries. It's a miracle. It's just so amazing. And what we do is we appointed leaders under the different Sustainable Development Goal headings. So we have what we call 12 chapters. So then we set up the chapters, and they are arts and culture, environment, sustainable agriculture, children's rights, women empowerment, rural development, health and wellness, education, human rights, the youth, sports, and tourism. So here you have 12 chapters focusing on different areas, and yet all 12 of them connect. They slot into each other. So even although we have a chapter called Arts and Culture is also part of tourism, because if tourism arrives, then tourism will take those tourists to go and see the arts and culture. You see? And with the education, with health and wellness, when you're dealing with communities, you have to focus on health and wellness. You're helping them to see what is healthy for them to eat and things not to do. Everything is just so interconnected. It just slots in. So these 12 chapters, every time a member joins Global Peace, they are asked, where is your focus and where would you like to be? And they receive the list of chapters, and then they say, I would like to be part of that chapter. And then we move them into that chapter. The leader then welcomes them, and the leader then shares their story with the others. And then the leader sets up group meetings, and they have meetings to see what projects can they work on together that's not going to cost money. Because none of our people out in the field have money in different countries. They are little groups of NGOs that have come together. They don't have buckets of funding to be able to do huge projects. So what we do, we encourage them to see what they can do to work on a project, even if it's just to create awareness through a Zoom meeting, and to be able to share their stories, so that the chapters can be active and the chapters are turning. And that is what's leading to other people sending emails or messages to Global Peace and saying, please, how can I join your organization? And they just come one after the other. And I want to share this with you, because at the moment we have so many members. It's just overwhelming at the moment, people coming to us. But when they come and they send their little messages, a lot of them will say, I'm working so hard. I'm doing the best that I can, but nobody can see me. How can you help me? They can see me. How can you help me, Nikki, so that they can feel how hard it is for the people that we are trying to work with here, because we're not getting any support. So we help them. So we say we put them into that chapter and we help them. And we say, now we're going to shine the light on you. So Global Peace Let's Talk, the website, it's about, we're doing our very best to spotlight those people. And then we promote them that way. And in the meantime, we're also looking at, now that Global Peace has grown, we now need to look at very formal structures, because we're now moving into a new direction where structures are in place to meet international requirements, where we have to follow the rules and regulations of an organization that is completely aligned to what is needed to be able to compete in a global environment, for us to be able to do bigger projects, for us to help and support our members and leaders and say, this is what we are going to do to support your project, and we are now able to offer you funding. And then we're going to be able to do that. One of the other things I just want to share also, that agriculture is the heart of everything, because you cannot, if you do not have food, no matter what else you try and bring there, it's not going to work. A hungry person has hunger. A hungry person has very little to give you. There is nothing left there. It's empty. You cannot go to a hungry person and talk to a hungry person about peace. They will not understand you. Where do you talk about togetherness and peace and love and all of that when you haven't eaten for 5 days, when your children are lying sick, and you do not even have? I have worked with some, I want to add this, with somebody who only had 1 loaf of bread, with a loaf this big, that only so many slices, and yet there were like 40 children. Tell me, how do you divide 1 slice of bread into 4 pieces so everybody can just get 1 mouthful? And then you want to go to those children that have only had one mouthful and say, you mustn't get involved in the conflict. Don't go to those people that want to give you a gun. Don't listen to them. How will that work? If we do not change the way and make sure that the people that are suffering at their most are safe, that they have a meal, that they're not being raped and abused, then you can go and talk peace building. We have to, that's why I say, put agriculture at the front so that there is food. So at least somebody is eating. At least they can earn a little bit of living. Educate. Make sure that people have a skill so that they're able to do something for themselves, so that they're not having their children trying to share one slice of bread. I know that sounds so wide, but the whole purpose with global peace is to help with that, to alleviate, to find solutions to those problems. We have to keep talking.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nikki, for joining us for part 1 of Global Peace, and we look forward to having you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Next week, we will continue with our topic with Dr. Veronica Nikki de Pina. In the meantime, go to our website, ngowhisperer.com/masterclass, and sign up for upcoming masterclasses that we have put together for you for the month of August all the way to December 2021. As always, it's all about connecting people, raising funds, and impacting lives globally.